Hey everyone, I'm Danny and welcome to Wizardry Workshop. It feels really great to be back after nearly a month of not recording. For those of you who don't know, I just did a huge move. I moved my whole studio and my whole life to a new house, so it took a long time to get things set up. And as you can see, my shelves are still pretty empty. Except for over here, we've got my potion shelf, and I've been sort of documenting my process of decorating my shelves. So the potions shelf is already up on my channel. It was the last video I posted. The next one is gonna be up above that, the dark arts, and that is recorded. I just need to edit it and post it. But it feels great to be doing a new DIY project, which is what I love doing on here. It's what I primarily do on my channel. And what better way to do it than a collaboration with Darkest Raven Designs. If you are not familiar with Chantel's channel, definitely go over there, check out Darkest Raven Designs. She does some amazing miniatures and other projects and stuff, very magical, awesome, cool stuff, so go check her out. So this is my second collaboration with Darkest Raven Designs, and we decided to do potions in this one. So I'm doing a set of potion bottles, and she's doing a set of potion bottles. I designed all the labels for these, and basically I just sent her the files, and we're each like individually doing our own potion bottles, and at the end, we're going to react to each other's potions. We have no idea what the other person is doing other than the labels and what they are. And no, guys, it's not a competition. It's just a fun thing to react to each other's designs. Although I do think her stuff's gonna be a lot fancier than mine. The reason I said that is because I'm planning on just designing mine to look like the props in the movie. Like if you walked into potions class, this is what would be on the shelves. And if you look in the movie scenes of the advanced potion making class, they don't have like a whole bunch of fancy bottles up. They have like just standard bottles, kind of dirty, dusty, with labels on them and stuff. So I'm gonna try and do that. I am gonna kind of dip my toes in a little fanciness with these, but Chantel is probably gonna do some fancier things than me. I will say that. I don't know, haven't seen any of her stuff, but that's what I'm expecting. And one last thing before we get into this project, my Etsy shop has been on vacation as I move, but I've opened it back up. So it's open today, and I've got some new things in there, some art prints for things that I've designed for the wizarding trunk, like potion labels and stuff like that. I also have all my original projects that I usually have up there restocked and ready to go. So if you guys have been waiting for my shop to open back up, it is open, and the link is in the description box. With all of that out of the way, let's get into this project. Of course, the first thing you need to do is print out the label templates, which are right here. It's just a one-sided piece of paper. So you can also print this on like sticker paper if you want to stick them on a bit more easily. And we're just going to cut these out with a ruler and X-Acto knife. And like I said, if you want the full list of supplies you're going to need, check out the description box. And when you get down to this last one right here, I'm just going to use scissors to cut this part out. And that is all of the labels here. Go ahead and recycle your scrap paper. I also have templates to gold foil these as well, which is what I'm going to do. You've got to print the background textures with an inkjet, then the black foil version of the template on top of that with a laser printer. Put your heat-activated foil over it, put that inside of your protective plastic folder, and run it through your Mink foiling machine. I think the foiling results on these look really nice. Mine didn't line up 100% perfectly, but for most of the labels you can't even tell. The only one you can tell on is this one, the Elixir, because those little circles are supposed to be like right in the center of those other little circles. Other than that, I think the gold foiling on these labels looks really nice. Especially this, I don't know, this Armadillo Bile one. I like that gold and black checkering around the edges. Very cool. Next, we are going to want to do a little bit of hand aging to these two. Since the backs are completely white, I'm worried that if the label starts peeling up at all from the bottle over time, you'll see that white and it won't look as genuine. So we're going to age it a little bit ourselves with some Distress ink. And that's it really. We don't care about the center. That's going to be glued on completely. And you're going to want to do that with all of your labels before you stick them to your bottles. Which brings us to the next part of our DIY, the bottles. And since we have started with Essence of Dittany, that's the one that we'll do first. If you kind of pause it and look at it in the movie scene, it's just a little brown eyedropper bottle, and you don't even get a glimpse of the label. Hermione uses this on Ron's injury in the Deathly Hallows. So basically, we don't even need to do anything to this bottle. It is just an eyedropper bottle. Even if we tried to age it or do so, you wouldn't be able to see it as it's so dark. You can just put water in this. It doesn't even need to have anything special in there. So all we're really gonna do is take the label and we're gonna put some glue on the back and just stick it to the bottle. Super easy. And there is our Essence of Dittany, and it looks just like the movie prop because it's just a brown eyedropper bottle. Next up, we are going to go with the Polyjuice Potion. I've got a bottle and a cork. I just got this bottle at Goodwill. I got a whole bunch of corks here from the craft shop. The first thing we want to do is sand the bottle a bit. We want to put some scratches, especially like around the rim here and the bottom part. And I am going to keep my gloves on because when you do this, little tiny pieces of that are going to be coming off of whatever object you're sanding. So we're going to get little pieces of glass all over the place. You don't want those on your hands. And I'm also going to do this outside because I don't want to be breathing in little glass particles or fibers or whatever. I'll do a little bit right here, but then I'm going to go outside and do the rest. So it's pretty self-explanatory. We're just going to be sanding down like that. So here's what it should look like after you've done your sanding. You can see some water inside. I rinsed the bottle after I was done sanding it too. I am going to be doing this to all of my bottles, so you might want to do them all at once. And now I want to kind of stain this a bit so the glass looks a little old. It might take kind of more of a yellowish color if it's older glass. For that, we are going to be using alcohol ink. This color is caramel. You got to kind of work a little quickly with this because it will dry quick, and we want to sort of wipe some of it away too. So just brush it on, quick, sloppy, doesn't matter. We're going to do just the whole bottle, and then we're going to take another rag and just sort of wipe the alcohol ink away a bit. So there's that, looking pretty nice so far. I am going to put a little bit more just up around the rim of this, and I'm going to put some around the bottom just like that too. So we're going to take it again, and this time we're just going to sort of blot it with the extra rag. We don't want to wipe all of that away, but we just want to sort of blot it so it looks a little more natural than brushed. So there you can see it's starting to look like an old dirty bottle. For comparison, here is a totally clean bottle that I haven't done anything to yet. So you can really tell the difference there. Before I go any further, I just realized I was using this little tool that I made and I hadn't told you what it is. It looks like a little wand, but it's actually just an old wooden brush from an old paintbrush that I had, and I wrapped some rubber bands around it, and that really helps. The rubber bands help grip the bottle when you pick it up like this, so you don't have to actually touch the bottle if it's wet or has paint on it or something. You can just hold it with this little stick thing. I'm going to get this little splatter brush right here, and we're going to splatter some droplets onto this bottle as well. And I'm just sort of getting some alcohol ink on this splatter brush and tapping it on my finger around this bottle to get my desired effect. So here you can see all those little splatters on the potion bottle. Looks pretty cool. The next thing I noticed about the potion bottles in the movies is that they're kind of dusty, like they've been sitting on the shelf for a while. So I got this landscaping sand from the craft shop. It's just for, like if you're doing like a big town train set type thing or whatever, you can use this. So that's what that is. And I got it because it looked like the right color for dust. And then I also got this model spray glue. I'm worried that if I spray it on there though, it's gonna be like, just have droplets all over the place, where I kind of want to control where this dust settles on my bottle. And the idea here is I'm going to brush the glue on where I want it with a brush. Then I'm going to take the sand, put a little bit of it in my hand and blow it across the bottle to sort of give it a natural looking dusty feel. And I kind of want the dust to be like around the top. Ooh, that glue does not smell good. So I'm just gonna like do a little glue around the top here. Here it goes. Okay, so now it's completely dry, and that's what it looks like. Not exactly like dust. I think the particles might be a bit too big, but I mean, I can wipe some of them away, and it actually does look pretty good. Hey, maybe that was a success. I do want some more like defined scratches on there though. So I'm gonna use some of this brown, the color of this is burnt umber acrylic paint, and just kind of go around the edges here to dirty up the bottle a bit more. And I know it doesn't look that good right now, but I am going to be wiping this away too. So do a little bit of that up here too. Okay. I think that's really kind of getting in those scratches a bit more too. So that actually, I think that looks a lot better. I do suggest that you use a little bit of paint on the outside of this as well. Another thing I'm going to try, which I did try in a really old potion bottle video that I made, is a little bit of black. And then I'm just going to sort of splatter it. Okay, I do think I have thoroughly aged this bottle, but it just looks so cool, doesn't it? So here's a look at the bottle with the Polyjuice Potion label on it. I decided to do something similar to the swirly, sparkly goodness that comes in the Wizarding Trunk stuff, because I just love how that looks. So that's what we're gonna do. I just have an old Talenti gelato jar I'm gonna use to sort of mix the potions up, make sure they look good, and then put them in the bottles. So I've just got water in the Talenti gelato cup, and then I've got a couple of just these plastic cups here. One's empty and one also has water in it, because we're gonna wanna water things down a bit because we might get a little too much. So yeah, I felt like a mad scientist doing this in my basement. This is just water. However, we are also going to put in some isopropyl alcohol. And you could go even half and half on this, because the alcohol is going to help things kind of get swirly. You can see it in the water kind of already swirling a bit. For the swirls, I'm going to be using this Colorshift acrylic metallic paint. So it has to be metallic paint. As long as it says metallic, it's going to work. But I liked this Colorshift because it was just really cool. It's kind of green and gold. And I thought that worked really well for a Polyjuice potion. Now to get this in there, you don't want much. So I'm just going to use a paintbrush. I'm going to get some on the tip of my paintbrush here. And then I'm going to put it inside the liquid and let it swirl around. Oh yeah, we're definitely going to want more than that. Can't even really see it. I guess you can start to see the swirls there in the camera, but I want the potion to be a bit darker too. I have no idea when it comes to like ratios in here if I'm doing this right or not. I don't like those bubbles, and it seems that alcohol kind of cuts the bubbles out. So I'm going to put some more alcohol in there. If you spill some alcohol on the outside of this bottle, some of what you did is going to just like go away. So we're going to use a funnel to get that in there. We're going to cork it, and then we're going to need to seal the top of this cork and around the rim of the potion bottle right here to make sure that it doesn't spill or leak. So for that, I'm going to use some Mod Podge. This is just some regular Mod Podge. It's going to look white, but it should dry clear color. So I'm just covering up the entire thing. And I'm also going to go around the edge of the cork, the top of the cork, and around the rim of the bottle there, just to seal it. Okay, there we go. It doesn't look very great right now, but we're gonna let that dry, and it should dry completely clear. So here we are about a half hour later, and as you can see, the cork, you can see a little bit of a glisten on it, I guess, but for the most part, it's not very glossy, and it is sealed. You can see the swirls in it, although it does get a little bubbly at the top. I wish mine didn't get as bubbly, but you can see the swirls in there. But I'm also going to put some wax on top and put a little wax seal on top of this bottle. So for this, we will need a little wax spoon sealing thing. You hold this side and melt some wax inside, and then you can pour it on top. And you're also gonna need a sealing stamp. I'm gonna use the Hogwarts one. Let's just get this wax melted. You can also hold this over a candle. Okay, I think it is all liquid now, so I'm gonna pour it on top. Now we'll try the stamp right on top. So we've got our Hogwarts seal right there on this Polyjuice Potion. I don't really like the drippiness that's going all the way down here to the bottle, so I'm actually going to kind of break it off a little closer to the top. I just don't like that, personally. Let's see if we can get those swirls in the camera. And that is the Polyjuice Potion. We've got more potions to do though, but now you can see this is my aging technique. Let's move on to Belch Powder and Graphorn Powder. For this, I just have a couple of much smaller potion bottles here. For the Graphorn Powder and the Belch Powder, I went a little lighter on my aging of the bottles. I scraped them up with some sandpaper. I did the brown paint on the outside and then wiped it away. And then I splattered them just a little bit alcohol ink. So for the Graphorn Powder, I decided to actually use my fake dust stuff, the sand stuff that I got. I also have this extra fine black glitter. So I'm actually gonna just put a little bit of that in there with the sand. All right, so that glitter didn't have as cool of a magical effect I was hoping, but it still looks like some kind of powder in there, doesn't it? For the Belch Powder, on the other hand, I needed this to be a different color that makes you think of belching, which for me, that is green. So I'm gonna put some of that fake sand right here in a Ziploc bag, and then I'm gonna get this green food coloring, and I'm gonna put a drop or two in there. Oop, okay, there's 2 drops. And then I'm just going to kind of mix it through with my fingers. So there we go. Now we have this sort of a green powder in here. Let's put that one into the Belch Powder. And in fact, since it is so green, I'm gonna put some more of the regular powder in with it and sort of shake it up. And there we go. There's the Belch Powder, just a green powder. And if we look at them side by side, we've got the Graphorn Powder there and the Belch Powder here. Next up, we're gonna do the 2 different aconite types. So for this, I got these really cool bottles at the craft shop. Yeah, they just look like this. They do look like jars that were used in the background in potions class. And I didn't really do much aging. I didn't scratch them, but I did splatter them. This is Aconite, Wolfsbane, and Aconite Monk's Hood. So yeah, we are going to actually use some fake purple flowers because that's what Wolfsbane and Aconite looks like. And I also got this really cool moss collection. So there's all this moss in here, and I thought that would be cool to have sort of around the bottom, maybe some of this moss. And I think that looks pretty good in there, like that. So this time we're not gonna be using any of the sparkly stuff, so I'm just using 2 empty cups here and 2 full cups of water here. And I just wanna sort of get the color right and the consistency right. My goal for this is to get it to look like it's in murky water. So when we begin mixing, we need yellow and green food coloring. A drop of yellow in here. Let's just mix that up. Looks a little like urine, not gonna lie. Okay, so now we have a little yellow and a little green. I'm gonna pour some in here. I'm just gonna get some It still kind of looks like urine, but not as much. It looks more like just kind of old water, and that's what I'm looking for. But to make it murky and kind of cloudy, we're going to use some cornstarch. And I just want a little bit of this. We'll take a little bit of that cornstarch and put it in there. And then we'll mix that up and see how it looks. Ooh, that's way too cloudy. So I've just mixed in some clean water in there. You can see it's a little murky. See how you can see the cloudiness between the top of the water and my hand? That's exactly what I'm looking for, and I think the color is just right. So now we're gonna pour that into the aconite jar. I don't want anything like growing in there, so I'm gonna put a little bit of alcohol in the water to try and keep it from growing mold. These are just a bit leaky, so I am going to add some Mod Podge just around the rim there so that it doesn't come leaking out. I think that looks pretty authentic on the inside there. I like that. Next we'll work on the Armadillo Bile. I'm excited for this one because I really like the label and the gold foil. We want to get just the right color and consistency here for this Armadillo Bile. I'd like it to be orange, so I've got some red, some green for the swirlies, just like Polyjuice. But then I'm also going to add some red because I want it to be like an orange color, I think. Oh, that was perfect. We've got some orange Armadillo Bile there. Look at that. I have a small jar with a bunch of gold sealing wax in there. I'm going to put this in the microwave, melt it down, and we're going to use this to seal the top of our potion bottle. Wow, so that took much longer than I thought it would, but what we're going to do is try and dip the top of this into the wax to seal it off. And then I'm also going to take a little pentagram wax seal, press that on top. There we go. So that's what that looks like. And there is our Armadillo Bile. I really like the color that this came out as, and I like the swirls inside of it. I think that's almost perfect for like a bile-y color. Very nice. And there's the seal on top. I will be using this bottle for the Pepper Up Elixir. Ironically, it originally had Gourmet Pepper Supreme inside, so that's something. So for this bottle, I aged it very similar to the Polyjuice Potion bottle. I just didn't do quite as much aging. We are going to do a similar thing like we did here with the aconite with that liquid on the inside. So we are going to do that for this. I need to mix another color. I'm thinking for the Pepper Up Elixir, make it a little more red, I suppose. And there we have like a murky pinkish colored water. I do need to water it down a little bit more, but this can easily go in the bottle first. But I'm also going to put some stuff in there, just like I did with the aconite. So we go back to the moss that I got. I want some red in there because it's Pepper Up. I got some of these chola pieces because they looked like things that would be in the potion bottles in the Hogwarts Apothecary or in the potions room. So I'm going to use a couple of those in there. Some other pieces of just random things in there. There we go. Oh, there's a little leaf in there. I'll toss that in there too. There we go. I'm going to go with a little bit of green in there too. Put that cork on there real tight in there. And we're going to have to seal this one off as well with some Mod Podge. And we'll let that one sit and dry for a half hour, maybe 45 minutes, because this one I had to put kind of a lot around the edges. So I'm noticing that the thicker part of that Mod Podge around the rim of this is not really, it's so thick that I think it's going to stay kind of white. So I don't want that to happen. So I'm actually just going to take some of this brown paint with a small paintbrush And I'm going to paint over that white and maybe like fade it up into the cork like this, just to cover that up. On this Pepper Up elixir, I want to do another Hogwarts Seal, and I'm just going to put some wax right here on the top. Just kind of drip a big puddle of it there. There we go. We've got a pretty big spot there, and then I'm just going to put the Hogwarts Seal right there. Yeah, looks pretty good. Just a little seal right on top of that bottle. This Pepper Up potion is just huge, but I think it's really cool. I like the stuff that I put in there. I think it looks really just kind of gross, like an old potion, a witchy potion, which is what it's supposed to look like. Hogwarts Seal on top. Yeah, got a little dust around the edge there. We're going to mix the liquid for the elixir. So here's the label for that. I love it. And I did some subtle aging on the bottle, just, you know, scratching it up and using that alcohol ink. So this is probably my favorite method for aging it, because it doesn't look too over the top, and it's got those splatters that look really cool, and just kind of that tint. Very nice. I love that alcohol ink. So we've got about 3 even cups here. I'm also going to add in alcohol into each one, so it's about half water, half alcohol. And I'd like this elixir to be blue. So I got this blue metallic paint. Just gonna start with a little bit if I can. I like the blue, but I kind of want a slightly purple tint. So I'll be using this Colorshift purple. Get a little bit of that, not too much. Mix it in and see how that goes. That looks so cool. It has like, it's blue, but it has like purple metallic in there too. I don't know if the camera's picking it up. That is looking really cool. I don't know if you can see that purple in there in the camera, but there's like blue and purple. Oh, that looks so cool. And hopefully this fills the bottle up. I'm thinking it will, but we'll see. And you guessed it, we're gonna seal it with some Mod Podge. For the elixir bottle, I really want to put a gold seal on top of this one too. So I'm gonna melt this back down and use that. I'm gonna attempt to do this. I'm gonna use that little pentagram one again, right here on top. Looks pretty good. And there is the elixir. We've got the seal on top with gold, the gold foiled label there, and I love the color of this one, and I love the swirls in this one. This one, I think the swirls in this one turned out the best out of all of them. And those are all the potions, and I'm thinking this is probably going to be like volume 1 of the potions, because I want to keep doing more potions. This was really fun. I think in my next videos, I'm probably going to do like maybe 1 or 2 potions per video, depending on how intense it is, because this video took me literally an entire day to record. It's ridiculous. I'm dreading editing this thing. Anyways, since my potions are done, it's time to take a look at Chantel's. Man, I'm looking at this right now, and I can already tell she went pretty fancy with these. All right, here we go. Nice. I like that one a lot. I really like those like kind of metal or iron looking like decorations around the bottom there, and around the label, the top and bottom of the label. Very cool. That's great. I love that Polyjuice Potion. I can already see the sparkling in it too. Oh, awesome. And that looks almost like my elixir color, the blue in there. Hers, I think, is a little more like primary blue almost, I think. Very cool. I love the key. And the wax seal on the bottle, like near the bottom. Oh, and there we go, belch powder. Yes, I like that she put it in a box rather than a bottle. Very cool. And then the Graphorn powder. Looks like it's in a bottle. Yeah. Nice. She went blue with her Belch powder. I went green. Hey, and that's almost the color of my bile. Very nice. Very nice. I think she got this. I think she got the swirliness better than mine for sure. And there's the pepper up elixir. Oh, she burnt the edges of the label there. Very cool. Nice. Oh man, that one's great. The Wolfsbane, yeah, she's got tears in it. Chains around it. Oh, very imaginative. Yeah, I like it. Wow, so her potions were awesome. That makes me want to do some fancy potions, which I definitely am going to, especially like I think October at least. I'm gonna do maybe 1 or 2 potions during October because I've got some ideas for like Halloween stuff. Anyways, wonderful job. Shout out to Darkest Raven Designs for doing a great job for her on her potion bottles. You guys need to go check out her video, which I will link in the description and in a pinned comment. If you are not subscribed to Darkest Raven Designs, I really do recommend you do because she does some amazing projects. Anyways, let me know what your favorite potion was in my video. I think, honestly, I really like the Aconite. I just love how it looks kind of real in there. And then other than that, I think the Elixir is my second favorite because I just love how it swirls and the gold seal and everything is really cool. I think I'm gonna go a little fancier on my next project when it comes to a potion bottle because I got a little inspiration from Darkest Raven Designs. So I'm gonna head over there and watch her version of the potion making video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.